probably going to talk a little bit about networking, and you're going to ask yourself, well, I don't really understand how that touches the financial space, Jax. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. How is networking going to help me? Well, whether you are a business owner or not, you do network in your everyday life. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Financial Mastery Simplified. I am your host, Jacqueline or Jax Kreider, and today we have the amazing A.C. Williams joining us. He is a very dear friend of mine, and he is actually the creator or the center of the football team, as he always calls himself, for the CGC, which is the Conglomerate Global Connectors. It is a virtual local kind of networking organization that I am also a part of, and we'll get kind of more into that. But we're very excited to have AC and all of his wisdom on today. So introduce yourself, AC. Let us know a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you're excited to be on the show.
Well, first of all, Jax, it is always a pleasure to be with you. You are a phenomenal individual. Excited to always talk to you, whether we're on camera or off camera, right? And we usually have a great time. We're always helping each other out. And again, I'm excited to be with you. But yeah, AC Williams, I am a serial, I would say, entrepreneur in a way, but my background, if you think about it, over 25 plus years in corporate America, Fortune 500 companies, and some pretty high level positions in terms of leadership and executive suite and things like that. And so actually with PepsiCo Frito-Lay and with Radio Shack, but always been an entrepreneur, always thinking creatively, looking for solutions and things of that sort. And so about 14 years ago, got with a concept that allowed me as an entrepreneur to create a business. It was in the network marketing space. Proud to say I consider myself a professional network marketer. And with that in mind, though, it allowed me to create income, if you would, but also businesses and lifestyles across 4 continents, and really be able to do it in a way that allowed me to get leverage and walk away from corporate America as a VP in an organization. And we haven't looked back. I say we, my wife, her name is Santa, just like Santa Claus. We have 3 adult boys and adult men. I would probably get in trouble, Jack. So adult men. And, we're living the dream and helping other folks do the same, and just excited to help folks add value, just be a spark. I tell people all the time, this sounds crazy. You meet people that like people. I have a serious problem. I've been working on it. I have a therapist all around me, and my issues are, I just love people. I love life. I love having been able to add value, help people win, particularly around the business side of it, because everyone's always wanting to start a business. The failure rate is incredibly high. And so I play my part, if you would, in helping them understand that and not be a statistic. So again, excited to be here, add value to people's lives, have some fun, smile, ready to go.
Yeah. And so, the truth of the matter is that we're probably going to talk a little bit about networking, and you're going to ask yourself, well, I don't really understand how that touches the financial space, Jax. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. How is networking going to help me? Well, whether you are a business owner or not, you do network in your everyday life, right? I mean, us creating our tribes, our circles, the people who are going to help us thrive, whether it be professionally or in the business realm, that is networking, whether you believe that or not. It's just like, I laugh when people say, well, I don't like sales. I don't sell things. And I said, yes, you do. And they said, no, I don't sell anything. And I said, yes, you do. Because if you like a product, I guarantee you have told 3 or 4 of your friends about said product. And that's just the nature of human beings, right? So you may think like networking is a dirty word or like a 4-letter word, like, I don't know. But I promise, when it comes to professionally and personally, you are networking. It's just, how are you doing that? Are you doing it effectively? Are you utilizing it to leverage that network that you are creating, and are using it to level you up, right? On the financial realm and the personal realm, right? I mean, there's tons of things that I'm getting out of networking beyond just financial gains. So, let's talk a little bit about that, since you are the eternal networker, AC. I'll let you start.
Well, networking, one thing you said, people say sales. I hate sales, and everyone's a salesman, because when they're telling you that they're not sales, they're selling you on the point that they don't sell, right? And so, I mean, it's just a perspective. And we talk about that a lot in terms of how you see things. Networking, we all network, whether it's word of mouth referring of a movie or show, person, we do it all the time. And it's basically we want to be valuable to each other, right? If you are one that wants to be valuable and want to be able to help folks, whether it's friends or relatives, you network, right? And a lot of times people say, well, I meet a lot of folks. Well, you network a lot of folks, really. Actually network them, because you get them to understand what you do, and they understand what you do. So we all do it. whether you own a business or not, you're networking because you'll have someone that everyone has someone in the family. I smile because I'm thinking about my sister that has the hookup, right? Right?
Right.
That's because she networks, and you network with her because you know she does. And so we do it all the time. It's just a matter of doing it in a manner that is beneficial for everyone and a manner that's sustainable. Right. I think
Right.
it gets negative, Jax, when people they look at it as transactional, right? In terms of
Absolutely.
when I'm networking with you to get something from you, or you're from me. That's not really it. You're just networking to really create that relationship so that when they know someone or you know someone, you can put them together. That's what it
Right.
is.
Oh, no, absolutely. Well, and a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize that, yes, we are in a society where there is a lot of monetary exchange, but and I've talked about this multiple times on the show. There is sometimes where we still do live in a society where you can trade off, right? And you do trade off favors with people. You utilize those resources for things like that, right? I know tons of people who are in the business space right now because the economy has not been as favorable in the last couple of years as it has been previously, and they're struggling, and so they're trading off services, right? Hey, you do this, I need this, and they're finding ways to do that, right? Well, they're only going
Absolutely.
to be able to do that if they have a broad network, if they are getting connected, if they're open-minded and available to receive some of that. You and I talk a lot about, and anybody who is on any of my social media platforms will see that we're always talking about getting in rooms where the thinking outthinks you,
Yeah.
because if you're not challenging your mindset, if you're not challenging your thought process, you're doing yourself a huge disservice.
Big. Big. That's really big what you said, because folks hear it all the time and a lot of people don't believe it. It's all in your head. And
Oh yeah.
that's where success comes from. And because we have this little recording in our head, right? We all have it for whatever reason. And for the most part, to get to where we want to go, we have to change that recording. And to
Oh yeah.
do that, you got to get around people who know what the new recording is or what it should sound like. And so
Right.
that you can hear it over and over and over again. And all of a sudden now you have that recording, right? You can't research for the most part to get that recording out. You
Right.
can't Google it to get it out. You have to be around people, networking, right? Be around people that can give you that knowledge to change the recorder in your head.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
so,
There's a coaching group that I was a part of, and this is what they always said to us. They said the story you tell yourself the most is the story you believe the most, and the
yes,
story you believe the most is the story you tell yourself the most. And you're like, that kind of sounds like a riddle, but the truth is that, like, if you don't like what's happening in the course of your life, financial or otherwise, you need to start telling yourself a different story, and you need to start believing it. But
yeah,
the hard part is that you're right. You're not going to easily be able to change that recording. You have to have it echoed back to you by those who are standing around you, right? I mean,
yes,
myself personally, I've gone through more trials probably in the last 2 years than I have in my entire life, and they've all just been piled on. And if I were to list them for anyone in the audience, you'd be like, "What the heck? That is a lot of crap going on in your life," and it is. But the truth of the matter is, I decided, gosh, probably 18 months ago, I was going to tell myself a different story, that I
yeah,
was going to be successful, that I wasn't going to let anything stand in my way. And I started surrounding myself with people like you, with Steve, all these people that are in my corner and my circle who remind me, no, you are powerful. I mean, literally, guys, I text AC and I'm like, tell me that this is just temporary, that this crap that I'm going through right now is just something that is happening in this one little blip of time, because man, like, I want to give up myself. It's hard. It's not easy.
no, I mean, I live in the perspective. I always tell folks the glass that's half empty and half full, it's the same. It's just a matter
Yes,
of what you go do, right? And so,
absolutely.
uh, Jax I think you text me the exact thing. Tell me this is what have you, right? And I'll tell everyone, listen, it happens for you. Everything happens for you, right? So that you can go do something different. It happens for you so you can tell your story, which gives other folks the chance to tell their story. It happens for you. Don't let it happen in you, because if it
Right.
happens in you, it changes you, right? So it changes you in a bad way, I should say, and you kind of internalize it. Everything that is happening, whether perceived good or bad initially, think about it's happening for you, and that you're going to
Absolutely.
use it to grow and do other things. and you look back on it and be like, wow, oh, you're
Well,
right.
and you truly can utilize anything for the good of
Yeah,
yourself, like, right? Even the stuff that looks super ugly, like, I've already told so many people when I'm on the flip side of all of this kind of turmoil that is happening in my own personal life, I am going to be a very big advocate for speaking to it and sharing that story so that others can realize they're not the only ones. Because so often we look at social media, it all looks so perfect and everyone's life is going so lovely and oh my gosh, it's so amazing. And the truth is that every single person is struggling.
yeah,
A lot of their recorders are broken and on repeat with some negative, stuff. And it's way easier to buy into that when there's so much turmoil happening in the world itself, whether you like the politics or not, they're happening regardless. Like
right.
wars happening in Middle East, like there's so many like things that are happening that can just like bog you down and like make you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck in the sludge, I'm never gonna get out. It's just not true.
Absolutely. And, with that in mind, if you think about it, when you're in those situations, a lot of times to get out of them is to just really add more value to other people's lives, help other people,
Absolutely.
right? Start doing that. Yeah, it's going to come back to you in different ways, whether you want to call it karma or the universe, what have you. Makes you feel good as well. It changes your perspective, your outlook, that recorder in your head. You start being more value to others, which is networking, which is word of mouth, right? Being more value to others. All of a sudden, opportunities open up. They start talking about, remember that guy that was telling me, AC, you need to meet him. And things just grow, if you would. You just never know. But it's about your perspective, and then just be more value added to folks. Be a spark,
Right.
and that kind of deal. So,
Well, and it's funny. So you mentioned Spark. So for those of you who are listening, or CGC members, you know what that is. And for those of you who are not, CGC, like I said earlier, is a virtual local networking platform that AC runs that I'm a part of. And we call a Spark sort of that ability to meet with each other, right? Via in person or in Zoom or any other platform like Google Meet, all of these type of things. And I think a lot of people are discounting too in a weird way how COVID shaped us for the better because it allowed us to understand that we don't always have to be physically present to
yeah,
be able to be connecting with other people. Like I will tell anybody who will listen to me that probably in the last 9 months, some of the people that I met through CGC that are not in Texas, that are all over the United States, have probably helped me just as much, if not more, in my business than those I physically know here.
yeah,
Right. And how am I able to meet with them and collaborate with them? Well, guess what? I'm doing it virtually.
yeah,
Right. I'm able to not just use my phone, but use my computer as well and meet with them in these virtual style platforms that are allowing me to connect, learn about what they do, add value to them. And in turn, they are adding value to me. Right. And not just on a business level, they're adding value to me personally. When I've had, some really dark personal situations, like I said, some of these people have really spoken into me on that and, help those challenges, which is huge because let's be real, again, we all have that friend who you call them to discuss whatever this horrible thing that just happened. And they either want to one up you on their thing that's worse or they want to wallow in it with you.
right.
And there's nothing wrong with like your friend acknowledging, like, man, that sucks. Like, I hate that for
Only for a
you.
minute.
But right, for a minute. But then you want your friend to be like, hey, Jax, man, AC, I swear, we know that this is temporary. And somehow this is working for you and the good, right? Like, what's the silver lining? What does that look like? And it's not easy to see. And
Correct.
it's really, really hard to commit to doing it. Trust me, I know.
Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message from our sponsors.
Welcome to Financial Mastery Simplified, your go-to podcast for making smart money decisions. We break down complex financial topics into easy-to-understand advice you can use every day. Our experts cover everything from budgeting and saving to investing and retirement planning. We give you the tools to take control of your money and build the future you want. With Financial Mastery Simplified, you'll feel informed and empowered to make the best choices for your financial health. Tune in to Financial Mastery Simplified on your favorite podcast platform. Start your journey to financial confidence today. Welcome to House U, where we believe in the power of education. At House U, we're more than just a brand. We're your partner in home ownership, dedicated to educating, equipping, and empowering you every step of the way. Education is at the heart of everything we do. We offer comprehensive resources designed to make home ownership simple and accessible for all. From understanding mortgage options to mastering home maintenance, HouseU provides the knowledge you need to make informed decisions with confidence. We host workshops and seminars, bringing together experts and community members to share insights and build a stronger, more informed community. Because when you're educated, you're empowered. HouseU, home ownership made simple for all. Visit our website or contact us today to start your journey with HouseU. Empower yourself with knowledge and embrace the joy of home ownership.
Thanks for your patience. Now back to our conversation.
No, the pandemic taught us all a lot. And one thing from a business perspective, even from a world perspective, you can't go backwards. You just can't. It's not going to go backwards. When you open Pandora's box in terms of, let's call it virtual meetings, if you would, they're not going to go backwards. You may try to go backwards and things like that. Especially, and I recognize that. I believe in that wholeheartedly. I've seen that whether in a corporate setting or a private setting, entrepreneurial setting, you can't go back. And those who adjust quickly and look forward to the changes and adjustments and look for the silver lining or the pluses and things will succeed and take others with them. One of the things you mentioned, like during a pandemic, we were in a networking organization and we were meeting in person and what have you. Now we started meeting virtually, right? And we were one of those groups that I was leading that would immediately, we were on the virtual piece. Immediately, we were connecting with other virtual pieces. Immediately creating activities to bring more value to the organization in that group and to those people. Just constantly doing those types of things. And what happened is we realized because of the pandemic, because we're on virtual, our businesses grew even more, right? Because we opened up these other lines of connections and revenue streams, or ROI, if you would, and just got so many relationships going all over the country. A lot of times, even the regional based, call them trade businesses, they would grow as well, right? Because everyone has friends, relatives, or someone that lives where you live for the most part. Or, if we're in Dallas, let's just say, by example, that group we had 3 realtors in that group, 4 realtors in that group, but we also had HVAC and other folks that run businesses, roofers. They were receiving referrals, if you would, in this networking organization from outside of the group, yes, but outside of the state, right? And it happens because it's all possible. The world's smaller. This virtual setting allows you to be, yes, more productive, if you would. You can call it that, but it won't go backwards. As a matter of fact, technology is moving to make it even easier to make all these various transactions and things within this platform with 3, 4 entities all at the same time. And so there's no need to try to go backwards, and
no, well, and you're right. If you're not shifting, if you're not learning, and I have a saying that I literally will be learning until the day I die. I will be reading books. I will be listening to podcasts. I'll be watching videos. I'll be doing whatever until the day they take me home. Why? Because that's the only way you're, number one, going to keep your brain involved, right? And kind of constantly make sure that you're not aging at a super rapid rate. And then number 2, why would you not want to do that? It's hard for me to understand the people who like to sit by and are like, man, I don't want to learn anything else. And it's like, first of all, do you really think you know everything? Because I have news for you. The internet proved to us that was not true. Because you can literally Google anything and you're going to find 4,000 layers deep of whatever that topic you thought you knew about was, right? That's just the truth.
I got to tell you real quick, 2 quick stories. When you said, you said, I'm always going to be learning for the rest of my life. You're absolutely right. I made a promise and then I had a prayer. My dad's going to kill me. My dad lives in St. Louis, and I spent some time with him working on his deck, what have you, this a while. And we would go to the Home Depot every day, which is another story. We won't go there, right? But before we go to Home Depot, he'd stop at the bank, right? And he would stop at the bank to get money, if you would. Now, don't get me wrong. There are different ways you can use cards and this and that. Well, you can kind of accept that. But then one time he stopped at the bank. He didn't get any money. And I was like, hey, Pop, what did you do? I was checking my balance. Really? I was like, okay, look. I was like, don't ever have me in the car ever, but I thought to myself, like, he's not moving forward. Yeah, he's an older gentleman, if you would, but we can all still learn. And at that point, I made a prayer. Lord, I pray that I have the mindset to always learn, no matter how old I get, right? And I
Absolutely.
portray that through. I was helping pastors who own churches, who run churches during the pandemic. They were trying to get up on Zoom. And they would come, well, my congregation's older and this and that. And I told, 2 or 3 pastors this, hey, listen, do you have six friends of yours, 6 friends of yours? He goes, yeah. Well, listen, if you got 6 friends and you're letting your congregation kind of tell you that they're too old to learn this and that, just call them up right now, your 6 friends, put yourself in a box and go and let them bury you, right? And pastor's like, but I wanted to get his attention. And I did, right? And I'm like, listen, you lead a whole group of folks. You're allowing them to put a curse on themselves by saying that they're too old to do this, too old to do that. Now they're not valuable necessarily to their grandkids and kids after them. So
Right.
their granddaughter walks up and whatever, and you say, well, I'm too old to do this. You're not trying to relate to what they're doing. You're not being any good. And oh, by the way, you're giving that generation their license to do the very same thing when they get that age, right? Oh, we don't believe in flying cars or whatever it may be, right? So to that point, in terms of always learning, a lot of that stems, as you said, I didn't know we had that in common. I made a prayer that would listen. That's a scary thing. So, and that's part of where, the networking piece comes to. So,
No, I agree. I just think that, especially like with this whole new wave of AI coming, it is super hard for people to wrap their brain around. One, because of movies like Terminator, where they're convinced that the computers are going to take over the world and whatever, and blah, 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 right? And then some because they're afraid that they're going to miss the human element. But the crazy part is that I think if you utilize it correctly, and you and I have had lots of conversations
yeah,
surrounding this, you literally can like help it unlock a whole new level of
yes,
productivity in you, and all of that, right?
yeah,
So I just finished writing my very first book called I know, The Secret Sauce of Home Buying, and our own Janelle, who is I did an interview with her on the podcast. She has been helping me with it. Well, when I had decided that I was going to write my second book, I was struggling with like, okay, how do I figure out, like, it was a lot less like the first book was very simple. It was very black and white. Like, I know exactly how to do mortgage. I've been doing it for 20 some odd years. Like, what are the steps? Like, that was pretty easy for me to create that outline. Here are the steps. And then I had to fill it in with my personal and professional experience. Okay, great, wonderful. But then the next book I wanted to write was going to be called Ask the Question, which I'm still in the process of writing it. And I'm like, how in the world am I going to create this outline? Because I don't know exactly how I want to structure it. I don't know exactly how I want it to look. I have the big rocks of like what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it. But man, you know what? I plugged a whole bunch of stuff into different variations of AI and told it what I wanted to write about, what my main points were, what was the most important factor in the whole book. And it did like the whole outline. I've included quotes, and I was like, here are some quotes I'd like to be included in the book. It chose where they should go in the book. Then I asked it, okay, great, I love this. I want it to be more playful though. My personality, I mean, my businesses are like PBJ Mortgage and making mortgage simple. Simple as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Like that playful kind
right,
of ness. And I'm always talking in Financial Mastery Simplified, the course piece about gamifying things, make it fun, right? Make it easy for your brain to like absorb. And so I needed it to be more playful. Okay, it rewrote it that way. Like, it's crazy to me because probably in the inside of an hour, it helped me structure an outline that was very true to like what I wanted because I fed it what I wanted. And that would have taken me weeks probably, because
yeah,
when I originally created the House You outline, which is what I based
hmm
the outline for The Secret Sauce of Home Buying on, that did take me weeks. Like, I had to go and be like, okay, what are all these steps? What do they all need to look like? Breaking them all out. You know what I mean? Like, that was a whole process. And I had done that about a year before AI really hit the market.
yeah,
And so I was like, man, this is like, it's insane. Like, and I know people in their personal life, they're using it to write recipes. Hey, ChatGPT, I've got this 14 things in my fridge. What should I make?
right.
And it's like, here's a recipe. That's
Jax is,
crazy.
I'm just telling you guys, Jax is baiting me here because I love AI. And I'm not going to go too far off the topic. I grasp things fairly quickly and I come from the perspective of trying to figure out how to make them work. And then if they don't, then I move them out versus saying I already got something, if you would. And so based upon that, though, I really got into that and understand what's going on and try to keep up. I'll just tell you folks, it moves faster than you can ever imagine in terms of just the creativity that's going on. It's not coming from big business. It's small entrepreneurs like you and I that come up and
Right.
create this. I'll just tell you this in general. Yeah, you start out with ChatGPT, OpenAI, by thinking of it as this Google machine that's better. You start down that path and then you start using it to work things and you kind of progress and you can be very integrated with stuff. I actually also, the biggest benefit for me, and hear me when I say this, is I actually have conversations with ChatGPT, right? You can
Right.
personalize it. Folks around me know I call her Felicia, right? And I talk to Felicia about ideas, about concepts, about how to do things, run things by her, ask for 3, 4 things, negative, positive, what have you, ask her point of view on guidance, argue with her, right? Because I don't want to do that because of this, you know what I mean? And basically just helps form my thoughts and get things going, right? You can do that. And I say talk to her. You can do that from your phone. I guess a plug for ChatGPT. Download the app and the microphone is there. It's kind of ironic. The microphone looks like 2 earphones. That's a little different, but you can talk to her and she'll talk back to you. As well as on my Mac, I can do it from my browser. And it literally helps me in terms of running business, relationships. If I want to go shopping, if I want to, what have you, deals in my area, neck of the woods, they know all that. And so it's very eye opening in terms of AI and just kind of going with it. So I won't go any.
Well, no, I mean, I think though that it does tie back into the networking piece and
Yeah,
leveraging your network because allowing yourself to pair these things together, right?
yes,
People making your conversations more efficient because a lot of times when I'm on another podcast for those of you who don't know the community difference,
it's a great
and I do it
podcast.
in Frisco and in Plano, and we utilize AI
Yeah,
to come up with really great questions to ask our guests, right? So that we are leveraging those networking experiences to really get to the heart of that guest. Because think about it, in times of old, like we all have a very set way in our head of like how we think, right? Until it's challenged. And AI allows you to sort of stick with like the way that you think to a point and
hmm,
then push you a piece further to say, okay, let's ask this better question, right? Like you would ask it this way, what if we did this, right? And this allows you to even go deeper quicker with people that you are connecting with, that you are networking, and you're able to leverage these relationships on a much deeper level than you were before and much faster than you were
absolutely.
before.
If you're out here and you're listening or you're watching, just say bonus training. You're getting ready to get bonus training right here. So from a networking perspective, respectively, in our concept, the CGC, and our learning and development segments every week in the portals, if you would, which is like a chapter, we have segments that help folks personally and business wise. And every third week, if you would, probably a little bit more than that now, there's an AI segment, right? We
Yep.
want folks to be immersed in what's going on and be able to understand what's happening, right? And so when I say bonus training, I'll give you guys a little tip on this. This is crazy. Think a little bit deeper though. In AI, if I'm talking to or working with AI, I give it a prompt or something. One of the things I have programmed in there, and it was kind of goes to the point of what Jax was saying about asking the next question. I simply say, when I give you a prompt or ask you to do something, I want you, AI, if you would, I want you, if you could ask 1 to 3 questions that would make your response better based upon what my answers could be, go ahead and ask me those questions. Now, see, that's a
Nice.
very deep one liner because it
Yeah.
forces AI to go through the iterations, get the answer, check on another question over and over again within nanoseconds, right? To know if it should ask you another question,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It's a really good deal. Trust me, rewind this, play that again, put that in if you're personalizing your chat GPT, put that in your personalization piece. That will open up so many different ways because even though you're asking a question and you're thinking through what you know, If
Absolutely.
there's a better way, they'll tell it to you. Or in my way, Felicia will let me know.
Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message from our sponsors.
Imagine having the power to control your financial destiny, no matter where you start. Welcome to the Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform, where financial education is tailored to your unique journey. We cover everything you need, from basic budgeting and saving strategies to advanced investing and retirement planning. Learn at your own pace with lessons that match your level of experience. Whether you're a beginner or looking to enhance your financial knowledge, join our community of learners and benefit from shared insights and expert guidance. The Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform equips you with the skills and confidence to take charge of your financial future. Ready to master your finances? Enroll in our courses today at the Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform. Start your path to financial independence now.
Hello, and welcome to PBJ Mortgage, where your home ownership dreams become reality. Today, we want to share why choosing PBJ Mortgage is the right choice for your home financing needs. At PBJ Mortgage, we're built on a foundation of values that drive us every day. Our commitment to educate, empathize, and empower our clients sets us apart in the mortgage industry. Our clients are at the heart of everything we do, and their success stories speak volumes. With years of experience, our team possesses in-depth knowledge of the mortgage programs, ensuring you receive expert guidance and the best possible rates. We offer a diverse range of loan options to suit your unique needs, including conventional, FHA, VA, and more. No matter your situation, we've got a solution. At PBJ Mortgage, we pride ourselves on providing personalized service. Our dedicated loan officers are here to guide you every step of the way, making the process as smooth as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We understand that time is of the essence, which is why we've streamlined our processes for efficiency and convenience. Transparency and clear communication are paramount. You'll always know where you stand throughout your mortgage journey. Reach out to us today to set up a call to discover your options. If you're ready to make your home ownership dreams a reality, contact PBJ Mortgage today. Let us empower you during this exciting journey. Phone number 4-693-733-107 www.pbjteam.com. Visit our website or give us a call to get started. We look forward to helping you secure your future home. PBJ Mortgage, where home begins.
Thanks for your patience. Now back to our conversation.
Well, I mean, the crazy part to me is that, I mean, AI to me doesn't even really seem much more than a very, very robust personalized search engine to a point. Because the truth of the matter is, we've been able, and I mean, think about how much Google revolutionized things, right? Just like, well, and just search engine in general, not Google. Google's, of course, the one that people utilize the most, but Bing or any of them, right? I mean, used to, back in the old days, and I'm going to date myself for a minute here, when you wanted to find a book about something, you would have to go to the library and do some basic searching to even see like what kind of books could you find that would be about this topic. Then you'd have to go to the section of the library where set books existed and like kind of try to narrow it down further, maybe go to the index of the book and look and say, okay, this seems to be applicable to kind of what I was thinking or what I was looking at or whatever, right? And like you had to really kind of dig in and think about how much time and energy, right, that took. And that's why a lot of people didn't know as many things as they know now, is because it took a lot more time to really kind of understand and to figure those things out. I mean, now we have the ability, like I said, I took what was in my head of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to write, how I wanted it to look. And I just fed it in and said, okay, help me format this, help me, make more sense, challenge my thinking on should I utilize this or that or whatever. It also, when I would say, I want it to be more like this, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's a good point. If you want to do that, then we need to change it like this. You see what I mean? And like,
Yes.
it'll kind of, in a weird way, like push back at you.
Yep.
I mean, what a great tool to utilize in deepening your relationships and deepening your own mind, that can help you in so many different ways and aspects, like on the financial piece, on the relationship piece, on the networking piece, all of the pieces, right? I
No,
mean, and
it's
so like the reason that I wanted AC on here specifically is because I think a lot of people just super like to do things old school. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to meet somebody in person and giving them a physical hug. I think that's great. Doing that physical handshake, that's awesome. And you absolutely should do that, right? I mean, that's why the CGC, we are virtual local, because we do one in-person meeting a month.
that's right.
My particular portal, we will do a happy hour one month, and then a lunch the next
That's
month, and then
correct.
a breakfast the next month. And we're always, changing it up to try to accommodate people's schedules, etc.
Yeah.
But the truth is if you pair this old way
Hmm.
with what's coming, the new way, right? The
Yeah.
AI, the meeting people you would never have met before because they're in a totally different zip code, area, state, whatever than you are. And like we are about to have our very first international portal. Think about that for a minute, right? I mean, English is becoming very much the language of international everything. And so will all those portals probably meet in English? Probably not. But could you interact with them and meet in English or use AI
Yeah. I
to
was about to
convert
say,
the conversation?
yes, AI
Right?
can be the
To be
middle
able,
interpreter.
and what perspective could they bring? I mean, part of the reason the Romans were as successful as they were for the time that they were in is when they came upon a culture and they saw something that culture was doing better than them, they took it in and they adopted it.
Yeah.
They said, "Wow, this is a better way.
Yeah.
Great. We
Yeah.
want to do that."
Yeah. No, I think it gets down, I tell folks when we're talking about, let's say, just the virtual networking, and for our concept, yeah, we meet weekly virtually and once a month in person for a social event because you bond better on social events. That's fine. But there's a couple reasons it's all purposefully done that way. There's a couple things we have to think about when I'm talking to people that are the feeling that in person is all they should do, what have you. I'm not trying to change their mind. Okay, that's the first thing, because I'm a firm believer in you can't unring the bell. And trust me, I'm getting
Right.
ready to ring the bell, right? And so they'll go about what have you, and when they figure it out, they'll figure it out. But virtually, in terms of networking, if you're truly relationship driven, in terms of what you say you are, meeting your portal members in person is very minimal, right? Because what creates relationships initially would be the spark meetings that you have with those members. Our meetings are centered around education, culture, energy, really setting a stage for you to truly get to know each other. Because in this setting, your role, your purpose is to get your fellow portal members a great understanding of who you are, what you do, and how you do it. Because if you and I are in a portal, let's say, I'm not necessarily going to be transactional with you. It might occur,
Right.
but that's not the point. The point is, I'm going to
Right.
be relation. I want you to know everything about how I do it and everything, so that when you go somewhere, I know a guy. That's what it's about. And if you're
Absolutely.
truly being genuine about that, the virtual setting will just amplify that and take more than that, because now you're just not in the room with those 30, let's have fun, those 40 people at Ralph's Steakhouse, right? Where no one can
Right.
come visit. You're in a portal with 40 people while there's other portals going on. You get to go visit them as much as you want and expand your network. That's incredible. I
Absolutely.
always tell people, Jack, it's not about how many people you know. It's really not. It's about how many people know you. And
Oh
that's
yeah,
how you go about
I,
doing
I
it.
I say that all the time. In my
Right.
business, I made the biggest mistake ever. I did not. I thought to myself, well, I'm really good at what I do because I am really, truly a true professional. Nobody cares like I care about my clients and about what their financial goals and their financial future are. Nobody does things like I do them, and that is true. But a lot of times I wasn't succeeding as greatly at business as I needed to be succeeding because people did not know that.
Right.
Right. Because I wasn't sharing that message. I wasn't talking about it. I wasn't explaining. I
Yeah.
wasn't, yeah, I was great one on one with a client on the phone. But then I wasn't sharing that enough with other people for them to really, truly realize.
That's right.
The other problem is when you are networking, whether it be for business purposes, whether it be virtually, locally, personally, whatever it is, are you doing it to check off the box that you did it? Or are you doing it because you actually have the intention of learning, of growing, of pouring into other people? Because the truth is that so many people are simply doing it to check the box off. Are they, and like, think about it. A perfect example. I can't tell you how many times you go into a restaurant, and trust me, my family is guilty of this too. We're at family dinner, and here's everybody sitting on their cell phones. Here we are. So are we really at family dinner, or are we simply
Right.
there to check off the box that we went to family dinner, we spent time together?
Yeah. No.
Right?
I laugh. I mean, there's so many situations. We all really know these answers. You just need a different perspective on it.
Sure.
And that's what you're doing. You're putting a perspective on it. And we try to do the same thing. We tell folks we're not net showing where you just
Right.
show up and check the box. You're networking. Right.
Right.
And you go, well, okay. So, but when you're in that meeting, members are watching you. Right. You have to remember that whether you're on camera or whether you're in person, because again, you want referrals. So they're watching your character and this and that. You want to add value. If you're not adding value, there's no trust there. So
Right.
again, it's so interesting. Are you doing what you say you want, if you would? And how are you going to get referrals, or how is someone going to refer something to you if you're not being of value, if you would? If you're just being there, if you're just checking
Right.
off the box, right?
Absolutely.
We're on that mantra all the time. I'm doing it. My sons, my adult sons, they are in their businesses. I challenge them in terms of, are you being a voyeuristic, just hanging on the wall? Or are you participating and showing your value? Things
Absolutely.
like that. It's important. It's very important, whether it's, you're doing it for your girlfriend that you want to be able to help her for whatever, or you're running a business and want to have those relationships. You have to participate and show value, or no one's going to particularly help you, send a referral or a connection, if you would, unless you do that. Right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's the funniest thing.
I just think that so many people that gets lost on, just like the stories are telling themselves, they're telling themselves in this case a story of like, well, I'm showing up. And showing up is important. Don't misunderstand me. But if you're going to make the decision to show up and play all out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're not going to get anything out of it. And then you're going to turn around and you're going to be like, well, I personally connected with that person. I didn't get anything out of it. I professionally connected with that person. I didn't get anything out of it. Well, what were you pouring into it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, what kind of crazy expectation did you hold where you didn't get what you expected because you weren't doing that part either?
Jax, you're killing me. Let me tell you why. Because we're always on the same wavelength, unbeknownst to Jax. I came out of 3 portal meetings this morning. The L&D for this week, coming out of the L&D lab there, we do our PACER, which is our methodology for handling meetings, but we're concentrating on the R, which is referrals. And so we switched it up. And this week, there's 2 questions, really. The first question is referrals. How many referrals have you passed? Whoa, right? All of a sudden, it's like, because when you say referrals, people are thinking, how many did I get? No, how many did you pass?
No,
How many
yeah. How
referrals
many
you
did
get?
you send?
Yeah.
Somebody else.
Well, this is
Absolutely.
not working for me. I haven't gotten referrals in 2 years. Well, how many have you sent in 2 years? Oh, right. I mean, connections, the same thing, right? It's
Absolutely.
that value proposition again. You have to give value. What are you doing, if you would, to kind of reciprocate even, before it gets started?
Well, and whether people believe in God, karma,
Karma. Exactly.
whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
The old adage of kind of what goes around comes around. I think a lot of times people have an expectation that it's supposed to come
Yeah.
from the same place that you gave it to,
No.
and that's not true.
That's correct.
So, like, if you do something great for somebody else, right? You go out there and you get them an amazing referral or whatever, right? Like, sometimes that's not going to come back directly from that person.
Yeah.
It might come from somebody else, or maybe the way that they reciprocate is not necessarily in passing you another lead, but connecting you to another individual who has a whole ton of leads that might open you up to, or whatever.
Absolutely.
Right? Or changes your whole perspective on how you're running your business or how you're running your personal life, that changes your business or your marriage, maybe, right? And makes that a more successful point in the situation. And I think so many people, they have this very narrow mindset of like, oh my gosh, I got something from them, or I gave something to them, they need to give something back to me. Or they gave something to me, so I need to give it right back. And it's like,
Yeah.
whoa. Actually, that's not true at all.
Right.
What's true is that you need to come from a place where, first of all, mentally the recorder is playing the right message inside your head. And if it's not, find those people who are going to help you do that
That's correct.
and make sure that that's the message that they are also doing, that their message is not like, well, you gave me something, so now you owe me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not right. The right mindset.
I would tell you, and listen, I'll give like the cat out of the bag in terms of this whole business referral networking industry. I'll tell you, I humbly believe that, we need to do a better job of creating a culture that changes that expectation. And we work on this constantly, the expectation, if you would, in terms of the referral or what have you. We say we're not transactional, but our actions don't meet that. But more than that, when we look at the person that we're going to meet with, or even before we meet with them, before we have a spark with them or set it up, we're looking and saying, why do I need to meet with a Herbalife guy? Right now, I'll go even further for those in other networking organizations that don't like network marketers in the organization. That's the craziest thing in the world, right? Because that Herbalife guy right there knows a ton of people. I'm not doing business with him. I'm doing business with the folks he knows because he's going to get to know me. I'm going to get to know him. He's going to get to know me. And he has a huge network. That makes no sense, right? And so with that in mind, to your point, it's even before you decide. You should be meeting with everybody because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know who they know. And that's where your business grows. That's where the word of mouth grows in terms of helping your friend, your girlfriend, your business peers, your partners. Even one step further. Financial folks, a lot of times, are very difficult to receive referrals in these types of organizations. It's just fair. Let's be honest. Well, there's a couple reasons why, right? But more importantly, I had a couple financial guys, they would tell me, and it made so much sense. They're not necessarily in the referral networking, if you would, to get referrals. That would be happy. I mean, nice. That would make them happy.
Sure.
What it is they become more valuable because they have a network of folks that can help their clients.
Oh,
See,
absolutely.
there's different layers to it, but if you look at the different perspectives, right? And that's what we force upon our members in a nice way in terms of having them look at it differently, right? And, with change, it's hard and things like that. But this is also down to real life in terms of word of mouth recommendations from your friends, different perspectives, right? And so up and down the ladder in terms of, giving advice or referring folks, it's kind of like the same formula of adding value, right? And looking at different perspectives and willing to change. Right?
Absolutely. Well, as we're sort of wrapping up here,
No, we're not. We're going on forever. Keep this going.
I know. Trust me, AC and it will probably come back on because let's just be real. He and I could talk forever. And hopefully you're finding this incredibly valuable information because, again, I understand that a lot of people think that some of the aspects and the things that we talk about are not necessarily financially related. Well, let me just tell you something. If you are not shifting some of these things, thinking about some of these things, you will never financially succeed on the way that you want to. And these are not difficult things to do. They're not. They might take some time to put into place, but they're not difficult things to do, right? Like telling yourself that story, it is going to take some time to be able to convince yourself and tell yourself a different story for sure. It's not easy. I mean, heck, my own broken recording tries to come into play every once in a while. So I feel that. Yeah. But it definitely is something that you can put into place. But AC, do you have any last minute thoughts, as well as is there anything that you can offer the guests that may help them from, on their journey with financial mastery?
Yeah, a couple things. Personal development, right? Your level of personal development is the key to your success in anything, whether you have a business or not, right? Just in growing yourself, growing with your spouse, growing with your friends and relatives, you have to grow, and that's through personal development. But then business, it's the ultimate, right? You may not have all the business skills in the world, and it may work out. There's going to be abnormal, but for the most part, your personal development has to take you there. And one of the things we stress is well-rounded personal development, business skills development, all that together on top of being prepared and working through the trends of technology changes, not being afraid of the different wires and cables and stuff like that. And so I would tell you, keep networking, get involved. Listen, we actually have so many different aspects. We have groups that are free that you can join if you would. We actually have a trial membership that we will be rolling out where you can be a member for 28 days, right? And you can, whether it's you want to get referrals, want to be part of the knowledge base, want to stay on top of technology, what have you, right? We have that there for you. Last thing, what differentiates us in terms of just referrals and things of that sort, we offer resources to our members. We have a package that resources, tools. We get Canva Pro. There's a webinar platform which we're enhancing, which is going to be crazy over the next couple of days. By the time this airs, it'll be here, so I already know that. But it's all, again, the value proposition that we provide for members, that members should provide for other members, and individually we should provide for others in life. It's the same thing. You just have to take it to another level.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being our guest, and we definitely will have to have you
Oh,
back.
I'm
I will
coming
make
back.
sure to include some links so you guys can have access. You definitely should check out the CGC. If they don't have a portal in your area yet, we will very shortly, and we can have you help us create that if you'd like as well. Again, thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you next week on another episode of Financial Mastery Simplified.